to do. So my name is Rakisha Douthitt, sorry, recently married. Wow, I must be nervous. So Rakisha Douthitt, and I am fortunate enough to teach at Jackson Independent School. This is only my second year of teaching, so kind of a second career for me. But I'm loving it there. I teach English Language Arts, and this year they were kind enough to let me teach a drama class, which I love drama. I've done some theater, so the kids are crazy about it. We've not had a drama program in at least 15 years. There's nothing in Jackson, in Breathitt County, for the theater arts, which is a shame. So we're starting with baby steps, but I'm loving it. There's so much student interest and so much student talent, as I'm sure there is at many of your schools, that you don't even, that is not untapped. A home for those kids that maybe don't do athletics or academics or anything else. These kids are loving it. So their drama teacher's nervous. How strange. But anyway, so what we've done so far this year is do these group scenes. So the kids wrote and directed and produced and performed in their own group scenes, and they were wonderful. And as actors, young or old, seem to be very good at watching a scene and saying, I could have done that better if you had just, yeah. So that's a skill that develops early, I have learned. But we learned about giving constructive feedback to each other, helpful feedback, such as, do you know you pace a lot when you say your lines? Or, you know, you guys are talking to each other, but you've never looked at each other once through your whole scene. Or, you know, your volume was really good, was so much better than the first time you performed that scene. I mean, both positive and negative constructive feedback, right? And I saw that no matter how hard I tried, some of the more nuanced feedback, facial expressions, those kinds of things are so hard to get across to students. And so for their final performances that they did for much of the rest of the school, some of these kids would not speak up in class. I know, because I'd had them in English, and they loved it. They were doing British accents, some of them, and it was wonderful. And they were so excited about doing it. Props, costumes, the whole deal. So when they were finished, when they did their scenes, I decided, let's record these kids on their cell phones. I want them to see the kids that think that they're doing horribly. I want them to see how well they're doing, and the kids that have ignored my feedback throughout the process, let them see how much it would help if they did this or that. So I recorded them, and then we watched them as a class, and it was eye-opening, absolutely eye-opening. For many of the reasons I probably will not watch my video after today, eye-opening. So that is what gave me the idea for this grant. That was before I wrote the grant, before I applied for this. I thought, you know, we should have a project where I record them from start to finish, from the first time they read the script to the very last performance, props, costumes, everything. And just let them see themselves, right? Because it's very hard. I was never asked to do that in school. Were any of you? How many of you all ever took a drama class or anything like it? Okay. So I thought it would be unbelievably helpful. They learned more in those 2 days watching their videos than I think they learned prior to that in the year. So through this grant, I'm fortunate enough to have a handy cam. So now instead of cell phones, they'll be able to see themselves in high quality HD with really good sound, so that we can sit together after every single performance and pick up on things. When they watch their final performance scenes, they said things like, you know what, I do tug at my shirt when I'm nervous. I guess I was doing that. Or, you know, the scene really did work better when we moved closer together. Or, you know, I actually have a couple warm-up interviews. I don't know if I'll play those for you from a couple students, but it's amazing the things they pick out about themselves when they can really see themselves, right? You can tell them all day long that they're doing something or they have some nervous habit, but it is not until they see themselves that they will actually change that. And this to me is not just valuable for a drama class, it's valuable for any public speaking they will ever do. Valuable for life, I think. I think this is a skill. The amount of self-reflection and self-evaluation and introspection that they're going to take part in through this process, I think, is going to be so valuable to them in so many ways. So my qualitative data is going to be their student scenes from beginning to end. So at the end in April, I will show where they began and how far they've come, right? And I think it'll be good for the students who don't think they can do this performance thing to see how well they do at the end. But I think most importantly, it's going to be their student interviews that I record to talk about how they felt the first time they saw themselves on camera and everything that they pointed out themselves and worked on throughout the process. So.